There's something that happens when a big abstract performance hits the mainstream. And yes, I'm talking about the Super Bowl. And please don't scroll away because the message I have is probably not what you think. The internet usually splits into two camps, very specific. Either I loved it or I didn't get it, and additional responses that are worse. I want to gently suggest something today. Not understanding, not getting a piece of art doesn't mean that it failed. It often just means that we're not ready to understand it. And today I hope to make you a little bit more ready to understand any type of art you might encounter. In the past few years, I didn't see the halftime shows as just entertainment. They became public art. They required a lot more of us as viewers. And public art, by design and historically, is something that just shakes us up. Think about murals, public pieces painted on the side of a building. Think about subway artists of the 70s and 80s and even 90s. People had a lot of opinions about all of the things, and we still do. And opinions are fantastic. We should continue to have opinions, but when opinions turn into vitriol, that's what I want to help temper a bit, if you will. I remember one of the first artists I learned about that I didn't understand was Keith Haring. He was a subway artist initially. Simple forms, figures, a lot of color blocking. And I thought to myself, well, heck yeah, I could do that. I mean, shoot, I could draw a realistic portrait. Let's face it, we've all thought that, and there's nothing wrong with it, but let's dig a little deeper to understand what's behind it. Simple forms, simple shapes, simple colors, yes, but when you attach meaning to them, which is exactly what Keith Haring did, it becomes way more powerful. His work was never about technical realism, it was about access. Access. He wanted folks anywhere, anywho, anyhow, with any financial resource to be able to see fine art. And he realized that many people would never step foot in a museum. And so the fine art went on the walls of the subway. Early on, I learned to ask questions, and I was taught these questions. What is the story trying to be told here? What is the background of the artist? Where did they grow up? Where are they coming from? And when you ask these questions about Keith Haring's work, all of the sudden, the simplicity becomes intentional, the repetition, powerful, and the accessibility is the entire point. Bad Bunny versus Keith Haring. Core principles of art interpretation. Number 1, context matters. And I'm showing you Frida Kahlo and Diego Rivera as examples here. Think, where did this come from? Who is this for? What were they painting and why? Cultural background, geography, language, shared histories are recurring themes in art. And if you can ask yourself a few very pointed questions when viewing a piece of art that confuses you, you're off to an incredible start. Number 2, symbol over literal meaning. And here, Georgia O'Keeffe, I think, is a perfect example. We're so familiar with Georgia's work, and we see the flowers and we see the skulls. But so much of her work is actually abstract, zoomed in, big perspective, scaled up, and we wonder, what does it mean? A question that I can remember being asked time and time again in art school is, what was she really painting? A lot of mystery. Just look it up. In abstract, very highly abstract, where you literally can't see anything that makes sense or is recognizable, think about movement, color, repetition. What do those details mean in this context? Let's think about Bad Bunny for a moment. Costumes, staging, these are all symbols, not necessarily instructions for understanding. You don't need an exact translation or subtitles. You need a little bit of attentiveness. Number 3, emotions are clues. Norman Rockwell. Norman Rockwell, when you think of his work, you think of Down Home, the Thanksgiving scene, Papa's about to cut the turkey, but you might not think of his more political work. But regardless, his earlier work, what he's most known for, or his later work, which some might say became a bit of his downfall, they all made us feel something, have emotions. Number 4, remember you are part of the conversation. Now don't laugh, but my example here is the collective community piece of artwork that happens every year at Disney's Festival of the Arts. Yeah, you get a little square, you stand in line to get your paint cup and your really, really bad quality paintbrush, and you get to paint a few squares. You don't have any choice besides a color, and then that color goes somewhere specific. Like there's a number on top of your little container of paint, and then you go to that number on the big long canvas and you paint. But what I've seen over the years is folks actually writing in little messages or adding a sticker or adding a piece of themselves so they become part of the conversation. And whenever you're interpreting art from here on out, I want you to think of that little square and what can I add to the conversation? Okay, so let's break down the Bad Bunny halftime show like it is the piece of art that it is and with our new knowledge. We open up to a scene of sugarcane fields, and it feels kind of mundane for what we've come to expect from a flashy halftime show, but it has meaning. It nods to some really difficult history of our fellow brothers and sisters. And there was meaning behind that because he wanted us to know where he came from. One of my favorite details that I missed initially, there were only 2 times, I believe, that he stood above anyone else. So powerful. For the majority of the show, he was down with his troupe of dancers and, it was so good. One of the few times that he was above anybody else, he was climbing an electric pole that seemed to be malfunctioning, which harked to a dark time when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico and so much of that land lost power for like 11 months. Okay, let's think about the attire, the costumes, if you will. Very little of it was flashy. I mean, the flashiest thing was the group of women dancers that had a matching ivory top and a matching taupe bottom. Everyone else was dressed like they just would dress every day. So beautiful. So let's break it down. Just like Keith Haring, simple shapes, intentional, right? Bad Bunny's grasses filling almost the entire field, extremely intentional to tell a little bit of history, to inspire you to maybe look something up. Him never standing above anyone for too long or too often communicated a sense of beautiful, deep, rich community history. And lastly, the costumes. They weren't really costumes, but there was so much meaning in that specific decision. Interpreting art isn't about finding the right answer. It's about looking for it. And even if you have no care to go back to the halftime show, that's okay too. But I would invite you, I would challenge you to find a piece of art that maybe you viewed in the past that you dismissed and take a look at it again and ask these questions. Now, I want to go back to my point about just helping us understand each other better. That was my whole reason for making this video, because we become better people. We have the ability to understand each other more deeply when we are able to listen and learn without reacting, at least for a bit, to sit in really uncomfortable feelings and complexity and just exist there. When we can respect experiences that we don't understand and just carry on. Half of experiencing art is what you bring to it. It's about being curious. And when you're more curious, we tend to open up our arms wider. So the next time you see a piece of art or a performance that doesn't seem to make sense to you, or maybe even verges on offending you, I invite you to pause for a moment. What I'm asking you today isn't easy stuff, but it's worth it.